Our third video of the night features former track and field star and 1979 graduate Peter Jurgs.
Pete was just the best. He was the best javelin thrower in the conference. But it was a great couple teams that he was on, that's for sure.
Pete Jurgs arrived on the Gettysburg campus as the track and field program was becoming a major player in the Middle Atlantic Conference and NCAA Division III. The 1970s witnessed some of the greatest moments in the storied program's long history, with records set in nearly every event, including the event Jurgs competed in, the javelin. The Wharton, New Jersey native was an imposing figure at 6 feet 5 inches and 200 pounds, but it wasn't just his size that made Pete stand out.
The first thing that sticks out in my mind is his hair was out to here. Curly blonde hair, and it was big. I mean, it was big hair. It was out. But more importantly, he was a hardworking kid, pretty quiet, you know. He was one of those guys I was never concerned about him doing the right thing because he was always working hard and doing the right thing. And a good student as well. And he could throw the javelin. You know, it was really exciting to watch.
From the outset, Jurgs emerged as a major contributor. As a freshman in 1976, he took home first-place honors in the javelin in 3 meets, including breaking 200 feet in a meet with Susquehanna. He took third at his first Middle Atlantic Conference Championship meet as the Bullets won their first team championship in 16 years.
He was just calm. He was a calm, quiet kind of guy that had confidence but wasn't a cocky kind of guy. You know, you knew he had something special. He was a good technician. And then, of course, in the meets, he was first or second in most of the meets that I coached, that's for sure. And then when we had an opportunity to go to nationals, he was, you know, he really let it fly out there, and it was really exciting for him and for us as a team.
1977 was one to remember for Jurgs and the Bullets. Jurgs was on another level than his competition, winning the javelin in every meet heading into the national event. At the conference meet, Jurgs easily took home top honors with a heave of over 206 feet, and the Bullets wrapped up another team championship. The good times continued at the NCAA championships as the Bullets turned in the greatest performance in team history. Gettysburg placed 12th at the national meet, the highest in program history, on the strength of All-America performances in 6 separate events. Jurgs played a major role, besting his previous career-long throw by more than 5 feet with a toss of 213 feet 2 inches to place 5th. Jurgs was unable to duplicate his feats in his final 2 seasons due to a serious knee injury that left him unable to fully throw. Even with the loss of those final 2 years, Jurgs' records have stood tall, and 37 years later, he retains the longest throw in school history.
Pete Jurgs deserves to be in the Hall of Honor because of his production as an athlete and on the national scene. I mean, he's in the top 5 throwers in the country. But just as important as a person, I just think he represents Gettysburg College very well.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I present Peter Jurgs.
Wow, I guess it's real. I am pleased to be here and thank the Orange and Blue Club and my former teammates and everybody involved in the selection process. It's not easy to be here and accept this award because I owe so much to a lot of people to get here. I want to tell you a story. How does a guy get started throwing javelin? It's not your normal thing. Actually, I started playing football, baseball, basketball as a kid. And in my freshman year in high school, back in 1971, played freshman football, and my coach there was also athletic director. And to give you an idea of the guy, it reminds you, if you can think of Robert Duvall in Apocalypse Now, with a baseball cap rather than the Ranger hat. He was he had the posture, the military look, focus, drive, all of that. And he made us winners as freshman football players. Actually, we went undefeated, 8-0-1, thanks to his leadership. He wouldn't accept less from us than a good job and focus, leadership, and fun. We had fun playing. I stopped playing baseball as a little leaguer. It wasn't for me. So after football season, I went on to play some basketball. And I was at a loss for the third season in high school. He came up one time in the hall, and I think he said something to the effect that, hey, it would be great to have a quarterback on the football team, 6'5", who could throw the ball. We need you to work on your arm strength and get over to track and try out javelin. I didn't know what javelin was at the time. I think I did, kind of, seeing pictures in old books. But that was my introduction to that, and he kind of made me agree to try it. So I did. When we would see each other in the hall, he'd start teaching me little things about the javelin. It's a lot of technique. So you'd have this 5-step approach, and he'd start dancing in the hall doing the 5 steps, showing me how it's done. Motivation. It got me to understand what it took, the basics, get the technique down, do it right, follow the steps. So that's where I learned that stuff. So now I owe a great debt to Coach Knowles from high school, freshman football. It was there that I started working on it. I got good at it. Set a freshman record, sophomore, junior, senior, each going 5 or 7 to 10 feet more than the last year. And that continued. And decided to go to Gettysburg. It didn't stop there, so I kept on with the javelin. I played basketball for the first year. That didn't work out so well. I wasn't much of a basketball player. I had some size, but didn't have the runaround and the drive to play basketball. So I want to say to the other team players here, I really appreciate the jobs you all did. Playing for a team is something. We had a great team too. We played for each other, and I think that was motivation at that time. When you have good teammates, and track it's a different thing. When you go out there, it's like a 3-ring circus, I always thought it as. There were events everywhere, and these guys would work and work and work. So that motivated me. I had to perform. I had to make a contribution, and I wanted to make a contribution. And so I want to say thank you to everybody on the team, those great teams that we had back then. It made me a better person, and it made me a better thrower. And I am so pleased, and this is good recognition that I did make an honest contribution to Gettysburg College. Thank you very much.